I also love working with a new bunch of actors every time. Sometimes, you get to have the privilege of working with people on multiple occasions. I've done 3 films with. A few days ago, someone asked Sam Neill a question he hadn't really thought about before, after all these years in films. Who are the 5 people you've loved the most? It was an easier question than asking who the greatest actors were, because greatness can be debated, love can't. As Sam grew older, he realized he remembered less about premieres, awards, and performances, and much more about conversations, shared meals, laughter between takes, and the people who made long days feel shorter. 5 names came to mind almost immediately. 1, Laura Dern. Most people remember the 2 of them from Jurassic Park, running from dinosaurs and surviving one of Hollywood's most iconic adventures. But Sam remembered something different. He remembered the hours between takes, waiting for cameras, sitting around while lights were adjusted, hiding from bad weather. That's where you really get to know people. Laura was warm, kind, and easy to be around. She treated everyone with the same respect, whether they were the leading actor or someone working behind the scenes. Sam admired her talent, but he valued her kindness even more. Years could pass without seeing each other, yet whenever they met again, the friendship felt exactly the same. For Sam, that kind of connection was rare. And that's why Laura Dern was one of the first people he thought of. 2, Jeff Goldblum. Everyone remembers Jeff for his unique voice, his pauses, and his unforgettable performance as Ian Malcolm. But Sam remembered the man behind the character. Film sets could be stressful, weather could ruin schedules, problems appeared everywhere. Then Jeff would walk over and start talking about something completely unexpected. Suddenly, everyone was smiling. He had a natural ability to make a room feel lighter without even trying. Sam remembered conversations that moved from movies to music, books, and almost anything else. They weren't important conversations, but somehow they became the memories that lasted. When Sam look back on those years, he didn't only remember the dinosaurs. Sometimes he simply remembered hearing Jeff's voice nearby and knowing it was going to be another enjoyable day. That's why Jeff Goldblum remained one of the people he loved most. 3, Brian Brown, the third person, was many years, and Sam believed the best friendships don't need constant maintenance. Months or even years could pass without seeing someone. Then you meet again and nothing feels different. That's how it was with Brian. Sam admired that Brian never needed to be the loudest person in the room. He was simply comfortable being himself. And most importantly, he was dependable. The same honest and decent person every time. As Sam grew older, he realized that consistency was one of the greatest qualities a person could have. Talent can impress you, success can disappear, but knowing someone will always be the same person means much more. Sam could forget some of the films he'd made over the years, but he never forgot the people who made those years enjoyable. Brian Brown was one of them. 4, Steven Spielberg. By the time Sam worked with Steven, his reputation was already enormous. He had changed cinema and directed some of the most influential films in history. But Sam wasn't most impressed by Steven's filmmaking knowledge. He was impressed by the way Steven treated people. Film sets are complicated. Hundreds of decisions have to be made every day, and everyone wants the director's attention. Yet Sam remembered Steven as someone who listened. It didn't matter whether he was speaking to an actor, a camera operator, or a crew member. He gave people his attention, and Sam believed people remember how you make them feel. Working on Jurassic Park taught him more than just lessons about filmmaking. It showed him something about leadership. The best leaders don't constantly remind everyone that they're in charge. They create an environment where people want to do their best. That's what Sam admired about Steven. Success may bring people to you once, but kindness makes them want to come back.
5 John Clark. Some people might have expected another famous actor, someone with more awards, someone with a longer list of films. But this wasn't a list about fame, it was about love. John was one of those people who became important without either person realizing it at first. They talked, they laughed, years passed, and eventually those ordinary moments became priceless memories. John had a quiet sense of humor. He didn't need attention to make people laugh. Sometimes one simple remark was enough. Sam remembered dinners that lasted longer than expected, ordinary afternoons, and conversations where nobody was trying to impress anyone. Those are the moments that stayed with him. When John passed away, Sam thought about all the conversations they would never have again. Not because something had been left unsaid, but because he wished he could hear his friend laugh one more time. What Sam realized when Sam looked back at his life, the films certainly mattered. So did the places he traveled and the remarkable people he'd worked with. But before all of that, he remembered the people. Laura reminded him of trust. Jeff reminded him of laughter. Brian reminded him that true friendships survive time. Steven reminded him that kindness is one of the greatest qualities a person can have. And John reminded him that ordinary moments can become the most important memories of our lives. As Sam grew older, his definition of success changed. It wasn't about the number of films he'd made. It wasn't about awards sitting on a shelf. Success was having people who were still happy to see you walk into a room. It was having friends who made an ordinary afternoon feel special, because eventually the applause fades, the posters come down, the films become part of history. But genuine friendships can stay with you for a lifetime. And if Sam were asked that question again, his answer probably wouldn't change. Not because these 5 people were the most famous, not because they were the most celebrated, but simply because they made his life better. And after all those years, Sam believed that was perhaps the finest thing anyone could say about another person. And perhaps that's what Sam wanted people to understand. A life isn't measured only by what you accomplish. It's also measured by the people you share it with, the conversations you have, the laughter you remember, the friendships that survive the passing of time. So if someone asked Sam Neill what mattered most after all those years, perhaps the answer was surprisingly simple. It wasn't fame, it wasn't success, it was people. Because in the end, the greatest thing you can say about someone isn't that they were famous or successful or admired. It's this: they made my life better. And for Sam Neill, those 5 people did exactly that.